Hello, you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. I'm back. I'm back and I'm better. I want you more than ever. You know what? Song of the day, Bryson Tiller. Don't, okay? But we digress. Today I'll be ranking teams coming to the World Finals that's happening next week and expectations placed upon themselves and where I think each team ranks and where each team wants to be, minimum. So I'll try to be as analytical as possible. I'll try to have little to no bias. It'll be hard, but I'll try my best. So here we go. So I know a lot of information about almost every region except for the sub regions since Brawl Stars doesn't really stream that, which is stupid. But up first, we have Group A. We'll start off with Group A. We have SK, SSG, Revenant, and Novo. First things first. SK is in must make finals, obviously. They're number one seed coming out of the best region in the game, EU. They've won a plethora of monthly finals this year. They made it to grand finals like 70% of the time, and they came second in Brawl Cup, so they're obviously a tournament favorite. Oh, and don't be surprised if there's multiple teams in each category, since there's a lot of good teams, so it's hard to like predict where everyone wants to be. And SK is one of the biggest names in the game, right? But they haven't accomplished anything. So they really need this to really cement their legacy as one of the best orgs in Brawl Stars. They're fucking starving child, okay? And the Brawl Stars trophy is their food. They need that shit to thrive. And up next we have SSG. Man, bro, like they had such a shitty year. They literally accomplished nothing. And then they won a monthly final. The final month. But it's the last monthly final and the teams above them already qualified. So I'm not sure how much people want to put weight on that. But they've been looking good ever since then. They had OG drafting now. They have Bobby and Sans, the duo that went second place in World Finals 2 years ago. And they have Chino. But expectations are low for them, but they've made it out before numerous amount of time. Again, they've made it to the grand final of World Finals before. So I'll put them dark horse since the expectations they have for themselves is to make it out. But I can't put them any higher. Like, I love NA because that's where I'm from, but they've had a shit year and they haven't really proven anything. Up next, we have Novo. Up and coming talents from EU. We have what's his face? Marco, Biso, Sabim. They won a monthly final, I believe, when they were still called Eclipse Star in EU. I'll put them happy to make it out. I'm not saying they will be grouped. I'm just saying that since this is their first time here, they have barely any experience. This is their first LAN. They're just happy to make it out. If they make it out, that's already good enough for them. But I really believe that they'll be one of the main pillars of Brawl EU in the future. Next, we have Revenant. Man, oh man. Revenant, bro. They had Sergeant, X9J, and one other dude. I'm sorry, I don't know. But again, they had an insane LCQ run. They beat. Who did they beat? They beat CR. They beat Inner Circle. And they swept Rival. Like, these are all really good teams. So I'll put but again, their org itself, the players don't have much experience at a LAN, at a world final stage, and Revenant itself as an org, they were grouped last year, so I'm gonna say happy to make it out. So there's not much expectations placed upon them. But in Group A, like SK is the consensus number one. No one's topping that. If they don't come top in their group, I'd be surprised, but anything can happen, you know. Dark Horse. Honestly, I only gave SSG the edge because they have more LAN experience. But all of these teams are very close. You could put it like either way. Either way, you can rearrange these teams. So honestly, it's just SK first in this group, and everyone else is fighting for second. It's very close. I can't tell you who would win. And that's a Group A. So now we're on Group B. So Group B is hashtag Group of Death. We have Humble, Tribe, SKC, and CR. Once again, easy. Humble, top, consensus number one. They are the team to beat in the world right now. They've won every LAN for the past year. They only dropped one or two sets in both World Finals and Brawl Cup. They won the previous monthly final, so they're in high form. And I don't care what people say, even if they're second in EU, right? They won the LAN. Like, no one's gonna remember just because SK was first place. No one's gonna remember that. People only remember who wins the trophies, the silverware, and that's how you cement your legacy, by winning. And Humble has definitely proven and cemented their legacy by winning all the LANs back to back, which is something only Zeta has done before. So their consensus number one. They had a group of talented players. They have Boss, Luki, Semantic, and Kanan. So they had great drafts, great mechanics. They have like no weaknesses. Only if you maybe outdraft them is their only weakness, but that could be categorized to anybody. Up next we have CR. Man, like CR, Tensai, Moya, Milkrio. Like Tensai, Moya, these are big names in the community. They've always made it top 4, but they've looked shit. Like in scrims, they're getting dog walked. They've been made a bitch by these other teams, bro. In scrims, they looked decent in LCQ. They reverse swept Casa Brawl though. That was peak cinema. But other than that, they haven't really accomplished anything all year. They won the first monthly final, but other than that, they've been shit. They never made it back to a grand final ever since the first month. But I feel like Tensai and Moya, they've always been top 4. So for them, it's a must-make semi situation for them. Especially they have something to prove, that they still got it. They can still perform. But personally, I don't think they'll make it there. But, I like to be proven wrong. And the only thing concerning for them, really, for me, is their draft is shit. But they have the mechanics, but their draft is shit. So I'm not sure how they can get there. But they do have the clutch factor. They do have the poise, the presence to really make an impact out there. Next, we have SKC, an upcoming talent from South America. I'm not really sure where to put them. I'm not really too familiar with them. But I do believe they won a monthly final. I don't remember. I think it's 1 or 2. Please don't quote me on that. But for me, it's happy to make it out / grouped. I'm not saying they'll be grouped. I'm always hoping that up and coming talent does well. Like, I like being surprised. But they're just happy to be here since this is the players' first LAN event. And they're not expecting too much out of themselves since this is their first time, and this is already good exposure for them and a good experience to be able to come out here and play. And next we have Tribe Gaming, the last hope of NA, the last bastion of NA, bro. Man, I hope they do well. They made it to they made it to every single grand final during the season. So if they don't at least make it out of group, it'll show that NA is a dog shit region. And they made it to quarters last year. They lost to CR when Saitempo, Moya, and Tensai were there. They lost to CR in set 5. So for them, their expectation is at least must make quarters. Maybe it's semis, but I feel like the benchmark is quarters for them. Since this is their second LAN, they have more experience. So they have a better understanding of how to prepare and going into this event. So that's my prediction for group B. I really feel like Humble is the consensus number 1 here. Tribe, I feel like everyone has them 2. And CR is a wild card. Like, I feel like they're either gonna get grouped or get fired. It all depends on how their draft evolves from here. Next is Group C. And in Group C we have Heretics, Reject, Loud, and Totem. For me, Totem is Heretics, is definitely a must-make semi situation. To me, Heretics is basically a better version of SSG, right? They had a similar year. They kind of did nothing all year until they won a monthly final. And Heretics even failed to qualify one time for a monthly final, but they won. And Heretic is a very large org, so they have expectations placed upon themselves. They're under a lot of pressure. And they have three very well known players in the community. They have Lanane, who made it top 4 last year with SK. You have Chaos, man, one of the GOATs. Like, he made it to semifinals last year with Totem. You have Czar. Czar went to the grand final. He went second place 2 years ago with STMN. So I feel like they are a must-make semis situation. Reject. Reject. One of my favorite teams coming out of Asia right now. One of my favorite teams that I'm cheering for in this tournament. Maybe they're a dark horse. They have Melty, Czar. I mean, not Melty, Shu, and Batoman. Melty and Shu made it to quarters last year with Rival, so maybe they're here. They went out like 1 or 2 monthly finals in Asia. The only thing holding them back, like, their drafts are amazing, their mechanics are amazing, is sometimes they just don't show up on game day. But I'm pretty sure that their expectations for themselves is must make quarters, since that's what they did last year as well. Next we have Loud, who Firecrow, Kaio Dog, and Edinho. Fire team, bro. Coming out as the first seed from South America. I feel like they're a dark horse. Expectations on South America, they're the same as NA. They're looked down upon, they're a clowned upon region because North America and South America hasn't done jack shit the past like 2-3 years really. They haven't been top 4. And Loud got a group last year, but I feel like they still have expectations upon them since they are from Loud, one of the biggest orgs in the game. So I feel like they're a dark horse, maybe a must-make quarters, but I'm going to put them dark horse here. Next, we have Totem. They have Maru, Mari, Angel Boy, and then they added Drage as their coach as of recent. You know, like, it's hard. Like, the season, they looked shit. They only made it to semis one time, I believe, and they failed to qualify for a monthly final. But they look good in LCQ. They beat Navi. They beat that Chinese team, I believe, and then they reverse swept Team Electros, which was absolute cinema. But dark horse, but they made it to top 4 last year. And Totem always makes it top 8, so I'm gonna put them must make quarters. Even though I want to believe, I really do want to believe in them, but they've been getting dog walked in scrims. Like, it's bad, but scrims don't tell the full story. So I'm gonna do must make quarters, but I'm not surprised if I see them higher, you know. So, but for the group C, this group I feel has no consensus number 1 team. These teams are all fairly close. This group is up for grabs, unlike Group A or B. This group, Heretics, Rival, Totem, and Loud. Anyone could be the winner. Anyone can go home. I'm not that confident who will come out on top, unlike the first 2 groups. Next, we have Group D. We have Put, Zeta, STMN, and Papara. Now, the script writers are cooking with this one, guys. You have Zeta, you have the Foot players, Meow, Garo, and Naui against their old org. Zeta, and then the team that org they beat when they won World Champions, STMN and Papara. For me, Zeta is a must-make World Final situation. They're first in the Asia region. They came 3rd in Brawl Cup, and they're just there. They're the standard, the most successful org in Brawl Stars. Whenever they are in any event, they're always top 3 or top 4, for the exception being last year when they were only top 8. But they're in a must-make final situation. They have Saitampo, Shizuku, and I don't remember the last guy, I'm so sorry. But they're in a must-make final situation, and this is Saitampo's time to cement his legacy. That he doesn't need Tensai, really. So that's something else to prove for him. And also Zeta, they have nothing to prove, but finals and winning has always been the standard for them. So they're clearly a must-make finals. Next, we have Foot with Garo, Naui, and Meow. They're in a must-make final situation. They're obviously former world champs, so the standard for them is to make it pretty far into the tournament. But they had a pretty shit year, I would say, for their stand. Not a shit, but a mid year. They failed to qualify for one monthly final. They were very consistent. They always made it to semifinals practically every month. The only issue is they only made one grand final, and they lost that to Heretics. But they're world champs. They're part of Foot, a very large org. The expectation is to make it to semis, I believe, since they're former world champs. And they have a new coach, is I believe Steel, which I don't know, man. I'm very skeptical. Why would you have someone from NA draft for you when we're a shitty region? I don't know, but hey, they're the world champs, not me, for a reason. So I'll let them cook now. Next, you have Papara. I like Papara, bro. They have Tomsy, Salty, and I forgot the last guy. I'm sorry. But this is their first LAN event, I believe. So the first LAN event, they looked really good. They looked really, really good in LCQ. They beat Team Electros. And they swept Navi to make it here. Ooh. I put them in here because this is their first time, but I feel like they're a dark horse. And I can't put them any higher since this is their first LAN event. But this is my expectations for them. I feel like, again, they're going to be a pillar of EU, just like Novo in the far future. When Humble and SK are weak or whatever, I feel like they'll really be there. A forefront. Next, we have STMN. They have Tacos. Love that dude. Juan Carlos and Payne, the Mexican dude, the triple Mexican threats right here. I'm going to keep it a buck with you all. I'm 100% confident, okay, that STMN is getting grouped. In this entire video, they're the only team that I said that I think is getting grouped. And I 100% believe this shit, okay? If they don't get grouped, I swear on my balls, bro, that they're getting grouped. Because I don't want to be mean, okay? I'm going to keep it a buck. They don't deserve to fucking be here. They are only here because Elevate got disqualified. I forgot why, but they got disqualified. And they didn't even have to fight for their spot. They didn't have to go through LCQ to reach here. They were just granted their place. If they at least went to LCQ, I would have respected them. But I don't, since they don't deserve to be here. But I hope I'm wrong. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. Since I love NA from NA. I hope my region does well, but I really don't believe that they'll make it out. So this is my list. So our must-make finals is SK, Humble, Zeta. Must-make semis is CR. Heretics, Foot. Must-make quarters is Tribe, Reject, Totem. Dark Horse is SSG, Space Station Gaming, Totem. Loud, Papara. Happy to make it out is Revenant, Novo, and SK, and Group. And the only team I'm 100% sure is getting grouped is STMN. So just because they're here doesn't mean I believe they'll get grouped. I'm just saying they're happy to be here. But STMN is, I'm 100% sure they're getting fucking grouped. Well, that's what I think. I feel like this will be a very competitive World Finals since the standard of skill has really elevated this past year. Rise to the occasion, and I hope it's competitive. You know, like the groups, it's hard to tell who'll be eliminated, so there's a lot of good teams. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll probably release a region rundown video soon. So have a great day and bye.